Good afternoon, our friends from IFC, Cornerstone member banks, Eddie, our friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Cornerstone members' Memorandum of Understanding signing ceremony of the Alliance for Green Commercial Banks. To kick off the signing ceremony, may I invite Mr. Mokhtar Diop, Managing Director of IFC, to deliver the opening remarks.
Hello everyone, I'm Mokhtar Diop, the Managing Director of the International Finance Corporation, a member of the World Bank Group. How to move from talking about climate change to creating a realistic, sustainable path to net zero? I believe the answer can be found here, among public and private stakeholders working together to support the transition towards a low-carbon global economy. IFC estimate that there are as much as $29 trillion in green investment opportunities in emerging markets between now and 2030. But turning opportunity into reality will require a collaborative, holistic approach. We need regulatory actions that support private sector investments and create policies to limit carbon emissions. We need to expand the pipeline of bankable projects in the world's most challenging markets by using financial instruments to de-risk investment. Most importantly, we need innovation. Innovation across the board. We need new financing vehicles that bring in more investors, new technologies and business models, and new tools to decarbonize the traditional industries. Addressing these complex and interconnected needs is our most urgent global priority, and it's one that IFC has fully committed to. We delivered a record $4 billion in climate finance last year, but we want also to leverage our expertise and resources to help others act in the same way. Banks will play a critical role in providing capital for climate solutions. But to do this, we need guidance. Banks need guidance on how to green their business and how to assess, manage, and disclose ESG risks. IFC launched the Alliance for Green Commercial Banks in November 2020 to help meet these needs. We were fortunate enough to be joined by the Hong Kong Monetary Authority as a founding member of the Asia chapter and its regional anchor. Our goal was to develop a one-stop shop for commercial banks and other market practitioners to learn about creating green finance roadmaps and transform into credible green banks. My great hope is that our work within the Alliance to mobilize the financial sector will accelerate the transition to a low-carbon global economy.
Thank you, Mokhtar. May I now invite Mr. Alfonso Garcia Mora, Regional Vice President for Asia and Pacific of IFC, to deliver the opening remarks.
Thank you, Mokhtar, for your opening remarks and for setting the agenda. Good afternoon, Eddie and HKMA colleagues, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alfonso Garcia Mora. I'm the Regional Vice President for Asia and the Pacific at IFC, a member of the World Bank Group and the largest global development institution focused on the private sector in emerging markets. I'm delighted to attend today's signing ceremony, albeit virtually, and to welcome Bank of China, Hong Kong, Citi, Crédit Agricole Corporate and Investment Bank, HSBC, and Standard Chartered to the Alliance for Green Commercial Banks as Cornerstone members. Our Cornerstone members are the demonstrated leaders in green finance, and they strive to put sustainability at the core of their operations. The East Asia and Pacific region accounts for 1/3 of the world's carbon dioxide emissions, making it the world's largest contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. Over 60% of the world's population resides in Asia, and many are already being impacted by the climate crisis. We need to take urgent actions now to tackle the crisis before it is too late. And these actions need to combine both actions on adaptation and actions on mitigation. It is very important that we focus our efforts on trying to support the economies, the households, the corporate sector in both dimensions. How can we address this complex problem? We need to act in unity and with decisiveness and resolution. The crisis, however, is also the investment opportunity of our lifetime. Take Asia's cities as an example, which consume 8% of the region's energy, create 75% of its carbon emissions, and are set to contribute over half the rise in global emissions over the next 20 years. We estimate that cities in East Asia and the Pacific alone offer $18 trillion in climate-smart investment opportunities to 2030, in everything from waste management and renewable energy to green buildings, electric vehicles, and public transportation. I am so glad to see the increasing efforts to address climate change among financial institutions, with sustainable bond issuance reaching $1 trillion in 2021 alone. We will not be able to achieve an equitable long-term solution to this crisis without a climate finance ecosystem that many of you here today and your organizations have committed to building. Through our collaboration with HKMA, the Alliance will, first of all, leverage IFC's extensive experience in green financial systems. Second, catalyze cross-border green investments and effective capital reallocation. Third, provide support to meet capacity building needs. And fourth, accelerate the adoption of green banking practices. Let me acknowledge with deep appreciation the dedication and excellent cooperation of the participating teams at the HKMA and our new Cornerstone members. I am confident that by collectively mobilizing funds, scaling up mitigation efforts, sharing successful experiences in adaptation, we will translate this membership from a commitment on paper to a reality in the lives and livelihoods of the people we care for and serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alfonso. May I now invite Mr. Eddie Yu, Chief Executive of the HKMA, onto the stage to deliver the opening remarks.
Good afternoon to you all. It's my great pleasure to join you to celebrate yet another milestone of the Alliance for Green Commercial Banks. And today we are going to witness the signing of a memorandum of understanding that brings in 5 Cornerstone members to the Alliance, welcome the onboarding of 3 global partners and 1 knowledge partner, and also publish the first thought leadership paper for of the Alliance. And my special thanks to the IFC advisory team and also our own HKMA market outreach team for their hard work and close collaboration that brings out the biggest common denominator among various stakeholders. And I would also like to personally thank the Cornerstone members and our partners for their strong support and contribution throughout the engagement process. So what we have achieved today is the product of collective efforts. At the HKMA, we feel especially privileged to have partnered with the IFC in launching the Asia chapter of the Alliance for Green Commercial Banks. This is an important joint commitment and undertaking to support financial institutions in Asia on their journey to become leading green institutions. In fact, Asia has the largest need for climate financing among the geographical regions. It's estimated that about $66 trillion of climate investment will be needed for the region in the coming 3 decades. And that is equivalent to more than half of the global investment needed to contain temperature rise by 1.5 degrees Celsius. And the public sector alone obviously cannot meet these enormous financing needs. Commercial banks can and do play a part in fostering the green transition. And they can do that by adopting clear strategies and targets to develop green finance products and services to support the transition of the real economy. We fully recognize that commercial banks themselves are at various stages of their own green transformation, and there's a lot of scope to create synergy among the banks in the region. And the Alliance serves as a platform to foster this much-needed public-private sector partnership. The IFC offers a deep pool of expertise and knowledge in climate finance across the world, and the HKMA can leverage Hong Kong's international financial center status as a focal point to promote green banking in the region. And since its launch, the Alliance has already organized many capacity-building events on a wide range of green finance topics, including green bank transformation, green building, voluntary carbon markets, climate risk management, and also green capital markets. And today, the Alliance is taking another big step forward by enlarging our network of partners through a membership program. And the program aims to connect banks that are aware of the urgency in green finance and are committed to mainstream green banking to help tackle climate change. The program will, 1, create a one-stop knowledge hub. 2nd, forge a community of practice and innovation. 3rd, deploy advisory support for green transformation. And 4thly, promote green investment and financing activities. And as a first step, we are very pleased to formally launch the membership program of the Alliance by inviting 5 leading banks in Asia, which has demonstrated achievements in green finance, to join as Cornerstone members. And they are in alphabetical order: Bank of China, Hong Kong, Citi, Credit Agricole, CIB, HSBC, and Standard Chartered. The Cornerstone members are committed to making further progress in mainstreaming green finance, achieving carbon neutrality, and having an environmental, social, and climate risk management system. They will also support the strategy and outreach plans of the Alliance to expand the membership network, to promote green finance market and product development, and to spearhead knowledge sharing and thought leadership activities. The Alliance also seeks to amplify the synergy by bringing in institutions that engage in cutting-edge research, capacity building, and standard setting related to green finance. Today, we are delighted to announce that 3 renowned institutions have joined the Alliance as global partners, and they are Carbon Trust, the Institute of Public and Environmental Affairs, and the Resource and Environment Branch of China National Institute of Standardization. And we are also very honored to have the University of Chicago joining the Alliance as a knowledge partner to assist the Asia chapter's training and thought leadership efforts. So collectively, our Cornerstone members, our global partners, and our knowledge partner will forge a community of practice to support the green transformation of commercial banks in Asia. Today, we are also publishing the first thought leadership paper of the Alliance in collaboration with the Hong Kong Institute for Monetary and Financial Research. This paper presents a curated overview of the effects of climate risk on financial institutions and financial markets, propose some methods for measuring climate risk, setting out the evolving practices, and also the regulatory initiative that seek to address climate risk. Today, we're very excited to embark on the transition path with the Alliance members and partners. We are very confident that the learning and sharing among peers will encourage cross-fertilization of ideas and the continued advancement of green finance best practices. And starting from Hong Kong, we wish to create a lasting ripple effect in emerging markets throughout Asia and beyond that will contribute meaningfully to the global effort in tackling climate change through the power of finance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eddie. May I now invite the signatories of the Memorandum of Understanding onto the stage. Mr. Ming Lau, Chief Financial Officer, Asia Pacific and Global Commercial Banking, HSBC. Mr. Edouard Ono, Chief Executive Officer for the Hong Kong branch and Head of Structured Finance Asia, Credit Agricole CIB. Ms. Hesper de Casper, IFC's Regional Head of Operations, East Asia and Pacific, and Head of the Hong Kong SAR Office. Mr. Edmund Lau, Deputy Chief Executive of the HKMA, Mr. Sun Yu, Vice Chairman and Chief Executive of Bank of China, Hong Kong, Ms. Angel Chief Executive Officer of Citi, Hong Kong and Macau, Head of Asia Pacific for Citi Global Wealth, and Ms. Mary Hyun, Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer, Hong Kong, of Standard Chartered Bank. The Memorandum of Understanding has set out the objectives, approaches, and intents of IFC, HKMA, and the Cornerstone members to collaborate towards meeting the shared goal of developing the Asia chapter of the Alliance into a well-regarded platform that connects commercial banks dedicated to green financing, other financial institutions, research institutions, and innovative technology providers, with the aim of supporting such commercial banks on their journey towards becoming leading green institutions. The Memorandum of Understanding will be signed between the HKMA, IFC, as well as the Bank of China, Hong Kong, Citi, Credit Agricole CIB, HSBC, and Standard Chartered, for these 5 banks to officially become the cornerstone members of the Alliance for Green Commercial Banks. Please kindly hold your pen and look at the camera for a photo. You may now sign the Memorandum of Understanding. Thank you very much. May I now invite all the representatives on stage to take a photo with the Memorandum of Understanding. Please hold the folder and stand up holding the folder upright. May I now invite the representatives of HKMA, IFC, Cornerstone member banks, and a knowledge partner onto the stage for a group photo. Mr. Eddie Yu, Mr. Edmund Lau, Ms. Hesper de Casper, Mr. Sun Yu, Ms. Angel Mr. Edward O'Neill, Mr. Ming Lau, Ms. Mary Hyun, Mr. Ma Bao, Mr. Bao, Executive Director of the University of Chicago Yun Campus, Mr. Daryl Chan, Executive Director of External of HKMA, and Ms. Susanna Wong, Senior Manager of HKMA. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for witnessing the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding, which signifies the official onboarding of the 5 Cornerstone member banks. This concludes the Cornerstone members' Memorandum of Understanding signing ceremony of the Alliance for Green Commercial Banks. Have a good rest of the day. Eddie, our guest, please proceed to the VIP room.